really fascinating series that just took a drastic turn as of last night. The Phoenix Suns and the New Orleans Pelicans. That series is officially tied 1-1 after the Pelicans ended up going to Phoenix last night and claiming a 125-114 victory, primarily sparked by a second half run led by Brandon Ingram. But the big story of game number 2 was Devin Booker's injury. Ended up dropping, was cooking the Pelicans in the first half with 31 points. It was reported he felt a little tightness in his right hamstring that sidelined him the entirety of the second half. And obviously, we've seen Devin Booker deal with hamstring injuries before. He missed some time this very season due to a hamstring injury. He actually missed time in last year's NBA Finals with a hamstring injury. This was after he dropped 27 in game 1 and 31 points in game 2. In that third game, he only scored 10 points, played under 30 minutes, missed the entire fourth quarter. It was later reported again that he was dealing with a minor hamstring injury. So this is major news for the Phoenix Suns as it relates to their overall goals and aspirations of winning a championship this postseason. But as it relates to last night in particular, I truthfully don't think that it necessarily determined the outcome of game 2 because Brandon Ingram played the best game of his career, 37 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, and really the Pelicans were outrightly outplaying the Phoenix Suns on the road, or from Phoenix's case, at home. And it was Devin Booker's heroics and incredible shot-making ability that kept him in it and actually gave them a little bit of a lead going into halftime. So I think as it relates to game 2, his injury didn't necessarily result in the outcome. However, I think that as it relates to their longer-term aspirations and goals this season, well, this is a major blow. And I actually think that this is a New Orleans Pelicans team that now has to be feeling pretty good about their situation, tied 1-1. Devin Booker's health is questionable. There's uncertainty surrounding it. You're returning home to New Orleans where you do have a rabid fan base that will be excited to cheer them on. Now, all I can think about is how much I would love to see Zion Williamson in this postseason. The fact that we've been deprived of him this entire year is a shame to NBA fans all over the world, but that's a discussion for another day. So there's no guarantee, again, that Booker's presence would necessarily have won game 2. However, I'll say for this particular series, do I think they still have enough with Chris Paul and with the players that they have to pull out this first round series victory? Yeah, I do. I think that Chris Paul at the helm can lead them through this first round. It's not going to be a cakewalk. Certainly won't be a cakewalk anymore. But I think they can probably pull it out in 6 games. I would imagine that, again, if Devin Booker has to miss time, that the Pelicans could probably take 1 game at home. I'd probably give them 1 game at home. But again, as much as we've praised Phoenix all season, and deservedly so for how complete of a team they are and have been, the reality is, with the exception of Devin Booker and Chris Paul, those are really the only 2 legitimate creators on the offensive side for the Phoenix Suns. They've got scores. They've got guys who can shoot it. Jay Crowder, Cameron Payne, Cameron Johnson, obviously DeAndre Ayton, Torrey Craig. These guys can all score the basketball. But most of their scoring comes from the flow of the offense, comes from incredible ball movement, screens. They're not as much going isolation and you just say, okay, give me the basketball and clear out of the way, and they're going to get you a bucket. They almost play a little bit kind of like how the Memphis Grizzlies play when they're playing without Ja Morant. There's a lot more ball movement. There are a lot more back picks. The fewer guys are holding on to the ball for as long. Everyone's getting touches. That's kind of how they like to play. And Phoenix can go very far in that manner. But when you remove a guy like Devin Booker, now all that onus falls on Chris Paul. And so, again, as much as we've all often argued that Chris Paul is their most valuable player for the Phoenix Suns, and I still think that there is a valid argument for that, there's no question that Devin Booker is their best player. And any aspirations of winning a championship, they're going to hinge on his availability. Quite frankly, on both of those guys' availabilities. I don't know if they can win an NBA championship without either one of those two guys, but perhaps even more so if they don't have at least Devin Booker. So this is a major blow for the Phoenix Suns, and all I could think about, the thoughts that kept rushing to the forefront of my mind, that were flooding to the surface of my brain, was just how unfortunate Chris Paul is. How all the time, every time he's been primed or in position to win or compete for a championship, he's had great rosters. He's been derailed by ill-timed injuries and just misfortune and bad luck. We saw that every destination he's been with the Clippers, Game 6, second half against the Houston Rockets. That was the Corey Brewer, Josh Smith game with James Harden and Dwight Howard on the bench. And they mounted a huge 20-plus second half comeback to force the game into Game 7. Then obviously when Chris Paul was a member of the Houston Rockets, we saw the litany of injuries, hamstring, and others that he had to deal with throughout his time in Houston that derailed the Rockets against the Warriors. And even last season, in the postseason, he hurt his hand against the Lakers. And now this year with Devin Booker's health being questionable, it's just unfortunate for Chris Paul that he really can't catch a break every year that he's been in the league since he's been drafted in 2005. He just hasn't been able to have a break. Now, we don't know, again, the severity of Devin Booker's injury, but this is a major, major blow to the Phoenix Suns, and we'll have to wait and see what they report back. But again, it seemed like he was playing phenomenally in the first half. He didn't have any limp to him. So this is a little bit surprising. Perhaps it's just a cautious thing on the part of the Phoenix Suns. Hopefully it is, because they were primed and positioned to make a special run this year. And all of that will be stunted if Devin Booker is gone for a significant amount of time.